this is a basic cars routine. I will do all exercises on the right side, but just keep in mind that you're gonna wanna do both sides. This is just a brief video to run through the motions of each specific joint. So we'll start with the wrist. For wrist, we'll have the hand straight out. We'll point the wrist down where it's as far as we can go. We'll start to bring the wrist toward the inside. We'll bring the wrist up, around, back down as far as we can go. And then we'll go the opposite direction. Out as far right as we can go. Up as far as we can go. And again to the left and back down as far as we can go. So that is wrist. Next, we'll work elbow. Elbow does a couple motions. Opens and closes and rotates the forearm along this axis. So for elbow, we're gonna keep the elbow pinned into the side of the body, full extension, rotate the forearm so that the hand is now as far parallel as it can go. Close the elbow. Once we're as far up as we can go, rotate and open back. Again. And then this can go in the other direction as well. So palm up, close the elbow, rotate palm all the way out, and open the elbow. We want to move very slowly through this movement for the cars. The slower we move, the more force we apply, the more of a result that we'll get in the capsular tissue. Next will be shoulder. I'll kneel up for this one. So for shoulder, we're gonna turn and rotate the shoulders far out so the palm is facing to the outside of the body. We're going to keep the arm as straight as possible and then sweep the arm across the front of the body as far as we can, continuing to bring the shoulder up, the arm up into extension as far as we can, and then we'll rotate the arm and start to bring it out and behind us. And the arm will end with the pinky facing forward and the palm facing out. Now we'll go the opposite direction. Come back as far as you can into extension. Doing your best to keep the chest square as you move the arm. The urge is going to be to open the chest up, but just keep the chest square as you move through this car. Again, slow and steady wins the race here. Next, we'll move into scapula. That's this floating shoulder blade muscle. So scapula looks something like this. Keep the arm pinned to the side of the body. Arm comes up. Arm pinned, arm comes up, rolls back, starts to roll down, and then again forward, up, and then the opposite direction. Again, with these, the more slowly you move through the motion, the more result you're going to get from the motion. So we've covered wrists, elbows, shoulders, and scapula. Next, we're going to move into the hips. So we'll do hip first, hip next. For hip, let's see the best angle for this one. For hip, you're going to want to brace yourself against something like a wall. Kick the foot forward, sweep the foot while straight across body as far as you can go. Then begin to pick the foot up as high as you can go, as if you're balancing a cup on your big toe. Then bring the foot out and across body as far as it'll go. And then rotate the foot. So now, I'll give you a view of this. So now the cup is balanced on the outside of the foot. Bring the foot out. Bring the foot out and behind, ending in extension. Other direction. Bring the heel to the butt into extension, and then start to bring it around as if you're trying to clear an imaginary box underneath you. Then it closes back in front of the hip and down. That's it. Next, we'll do knee. So the knee opens and closes, but it also rotates the lower leg. So knee car looks something like this. Rotate out, close the knee. Rotate in, open the knee. Don't open all the way, because then you'll lose the rotational capability. And then we can go the opposite direction. That's knee. Next. Next we can do feet and ankle. So ankle is pretty basic. You're just going to point the foot, spin up, doing small ankle circles. The key here is nice and controlled as possible. So that's ankle. And then feet. Feet. Pick all toes up, put all toes down. All toes up, all toes down. Just outside toes up, big toe down. Just outside toes up, big toe down. Just outside toes up, big toe down. Just big toe up, outside toes down. Just big toe up, outside toes down. And then with toes up, you're gonna tap big toe down, tap big toe down, and then tap outside toes down, tap outside toes down. So that is, oh, and then one more on the toes. Tapping the toes down and away from the outside in. That one's a little bit harder. But it all takes work. So that's toes, ankles, knees, hips, shoulder, scap, elbows, wrists. We have kneecap, which is really just a mobilization. So for a kneecap, you're gonna wanna straighten the foot out so that the thigh can be relaxed. And you're just going to get your kneecap. Let's see if I can do it from this. You're just gonna get your kneecap to move. So make sure your quad is relaxed and you're just moving the kneecap up, down, left, right. I like to move it in a clockwise position. But yeah, just moving it in each direction. Up, down, left, right, around the clock. Counterclockwise and clockwise. So that's kneecap. Lastly, we have spine and neck. So I'll do neck for you first. Neck, you're gonna get nice and long through the back of the neck. And then vertebrae by vertebrae, from the top all the way to the bottom, we're gonna start curling the chin down to the chest. Once the chin is just about touching the chest, you're gonna trace along your collarbone to the left or right shoulder. Then you're going to side bend the ear over the shoulder. So now you're getting a stretch in the outside part of the neck. And then you're rolling back, slow and controlled, until now you're side bend over the right side with the stretch on the opposite side. Side bend, you're gonna bend back over the shoulder. So now your chin is touching the opposite side collarbone. Trace the chin back and unfurl the neck. So we'll do one more going the other way. I'm not gonna talk through it, just watch. Okay, so that's neck. Finally, we'll do spine. Across arms, tuck chin down, start to roll from the top of the back as low as you can, comfortably, and then rotate as much as you can to one side. Side bend over, back to the other side. I'll do one facing forward. Roll from the top of the chest all the way down. Rotate to one side, twist. Side bend over. Bring the body back to extension. Side bend to the other side. Untwist and then unroll. And I'll do one more from the side. and that is spine. So that's a basic CARS routine. We did wrists, elbows, shoulders, scapula, hips, knees, ankles, toes, neck, and spine. Now, obviously, you're going to do both sides. I only did one side for demonstration. And my recommendation would be doing 3 rounds going each direction for each joint. So for wrist, that means 3 going to the right and then 3 going to the left. For shoulders, that means 3 going forward and 3 coming back in that opposite direction from the back. Again, the speed at which you do this is very important. The slower you do a car, the better. I'd rather 1 repetition of a well done 30-second car than 3 reps done in the same 30 seconds. So take your time with this. If it has to take you 20 minutes, 30 minutes, so be it. At first, it will take longer because your nervous system has to get used to these more specific movements of these specific joints. But take your time with it. If you're pressed for time and only have 15 minutes to do a CARS routine, then do 1 controlled rep going each direction for each joint. And your joints will stay nice and usable for the foreseeable future. And cut.